James Turner for the untouchable true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so I wanted to come over here and sound off on this because this made big news, big headlines earlier in the week, but I never got around to it because Better Biev and Bivol, they had their press conference, and let's be real. You know, I love Better Biev, I love Bivol, I think they're great boxers, but as far as them as talkers, you can't really classify them as talkers. And they're not guys, they're not fighters that are ever going to steal the headlines because of what they said, you know? That's just not who they are. So anybody at this press conference that did the slightest bit of talking was going to steal the show, and that's what happened. Chris Eubank Jr. was there. You know, he's supposed to fight on the undercard. And, you know, he had a lot to say. He had some choice words for all the promoters in British boxing that he has previously worked with. You know, he had stated that pretty much because he was asked the question by Ade Oladipo. He was asked the question, why is he signed to Ben Shalom in the boxer outfit? To that which Eubank responded by saying, and I quote, "Boxer and Ben Shalom are the only promoters that I know are not scumbags." And then he proceeded to run down, you know, all these promoters and the list of reasons why they are scumbags. You know, Frank Warren says that Frank Warren, you know, has been lying and conning his way through boxing for decades, which isn't too far off base. You know, I'm not saying anything bad or disparaging about Frank Warren, but there are stories of Mike Tyson and Terry Marsh. I mean, Terry Marsh came and shot this dude in his neck, right, over some money he took. So that's not off base. Eddie Hearn was trying to proceed with the Conor Benn fight for even though he knew Conor Benn had steroids in the system, and Eubank was wagering. That's the truth. You know, had it not been for a report that came out, nobody would have ever known, and they would have fought. So he's got a right to feel about how he feels about that. And then Cal Sutherland, he said that, you know, he's extracted every last bit of money out of him and locked him into a bad contract, which I don't think is off base either, right? So that being said, I agree with him. I agree with him on pretty much everything he said in regards to the promoters. You know, nobody's all bad and nobody's all good in boxing or in life. So it's no slight at those guys. It's just that what he said has validity and truth to it. So that being said, all that's well and good to have your gripes with the promoters. But I want to know this. This is what I want to know from Eubank, all right? When the hell is he going to fight for a legitimate world title? Because the reality is this. You know, we're talking about a guy who's been professional since 2011. We're talking about a guy who's now pushing 35 years old, and he is in boxing's #1 weakest weight class. And I think he needs to be fighting for a world title. So, you know, his next fight, and I wanted to touch on his next fight, and I wanted to touch on, you know, just the state of his career. He's fighting Kamil Schmerta, a guy that, you know, many of us who are up on our boxing know years ago he fought Golovkin. Years ago he fought Jaime Munguia. And we know that Schmerta has an awkward, you know, upright European style, but Schmerta is not, he's as pillow-fisted as they come, right? And so anybody who's worth their salt should not just be beating this guy, but beating him soundly, quickly and swiftly, you know. I believe Golovkin stopped him in about 6 rounds, and Munguia was 7 rounds, or maybe it was the other way around. But he didn't see the 8th round against either Golovkin or Munguia, right? So Eubank should be making quick work of this guy. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I like Eubank, and I enjoy watching him fight. I think he's good for boxing when he's in the ring. I just don't think he's in the ring enough, and I think he's not in the ring against, you know, opponents that fans want to see him in with. And I think now is a great chance. It's a seminal moment in his career and in boxing where he can really become champion, because right now as it stands, when you just survey the landscape, Eubank is the #3 WBC contender. He's number 5 in the IBF, and he is number what? Is he in the WBO? He is not in the WBO, and he is not in the WBA. So he's knocking on the door of fighting either Adames or Johnny Beck. And truth be told, I would love to see him fight either one of those guys. But again, I'm not gonna be stupid here. I'm not gonna play stupid. Like, I've talked to his manager. You know, shout out to Elliot. I've talked to Eubank's manager before. And I've asked some questions about Eubank before, and you know, I have an idea of like what the thought process. I know how they think, and I know what goes into. I know a little bit about what goes into the decision making and why they're not fighting certain guys, because they feel that, you know, Eubank already has a name in the UK, and he don't necessarily need to fight for a world title because he can still make money because of who he is. He's a son of a boxing legend, and more importantly, a British boxing legend. So he's always going to have that UK market in a Cobra Clutch. He's always going to have people wanting to see how he's doing in these fights. I get it. And Eubank could fight certain fighters in the middleweight division, not for a title, and probably make more money than fighting guys for a title. Because really and truthfully, like, let's be real, I like Johnny Beck. I'm a boxing degenerate. I'm a boxing nerd, but Johnny Beck is not a big name like that, right? And he don't speak English, so that limits his marketability. So those are some of the things that go into the thought process and the decision making of like Eubank and why he hasn't fought for a world title. But I'm gonna say it like this: I don't see any reason why he should be fighting for a world title in his next fight. And personally, just to be honest with you, Hamza Shiraz is a fight that Frank Warren has wanted domestically. Like I was saying, Frank Warren wants to do the Hamza Shiraz fight. It would be a good fight domestically. I'm sure it would do big business in the UK. But even if, let's say if Eubank was able to avoid that fight and whatnot, I would like to see him fight the winner of Johnny Beck versus Andre Mikhailov, because I think that's a winnable fight for him. I think he's one of the most exciting fighters in the middleweight division, and I think he's one of the biggest names in the middleweight division. So my thing is this: I understand boxing is prize fighting. It's a business. You only got a short window to make money. But Eubank came for money. Eubank is well off. He's got those boxes ticked. He's financially secure. I want to see him go for the glory, go for the gusto, and try to become champion, because he still has a reputation from years ago for losing his pen with the Golovkin and all these kind of things. And it's just like, look, man, the division is never going to be weaker than it is now. Go fight for a title before somebody actually good moves up, or something like that, because Eubank is an exciting fighter, and I really enjoyed his career, and I just want to see him get his chance at glory. But it's crazy because I almost feel like I want the glory more than he wants the glory, and it's sad because he won the IBO world title against Reno Quinlan and brought it to the club with Drake. Now he's fighting for the IBO world title again against Camilo Schmeta. So he's trying to become a two-time IBO world champion. But the reality is this: at this moment in time, maybe down the road it will be recognized as one of the major world titles in boxing. But right now, the IBO is not a fully recognized world title in boxing. So being a two-time IBO world champion really doesn't mean anything. Eubank needs to, he's going to beat Schmeta, which is kind of crazy because he's fighting Camilo Schmeta, who's not that good, and he hired a whole new trainer just for Schmeta. Like, he hired Golovkin's coach, Jonathan Banks, specifically because he trained against Schmeta. And I don't think Schmeta is that good of a fighter to be doing all this for. So I don't know, man. Eubank's a funny fighter because when he's in the ring and I'm watching him fight, he's top grade, he's top shelf. I think he's one of the most exciting fighters in the sport. But then when it comes to the business and how he moves, that's where I really feel like he comes unstuck and he kind of lets himself down. Forget me or the fans, he lets himself down because he was good enough to fight for a world title years ago, and he hasn't done it in quite some time. Forget quite some time. Has Eubank ever fought for a legitimate world title? I gotta look this up, because now the wheels are turning in my head. I'm pretty sure he had to have at least one time fought for a legitimate world title. Let me see. IBO, British. No. So that's ridiculous. So that right there, that's a crime. That should be a federal crime. Chris Eubank Jr. has gone 12 years in his career. Was it 12 now? 13? He's had a 13-year, 36-fight career, and he has still not yet challenged for a major world title. I mean, come on, man. What's going on? Let's get on the business. I agree with him with everything he said about the promoters, because, every promoter has dirt, and none of these promoters really play fair. And he's gone through it. I will give him that. But at the same time, it's like, bro, you're fighting Camilo Schmeta. Like, come on, man. Like, after this fight, get into the world title fight. Elliot, come on. I know you're going to see this video, Elliot, because you watch my videos from time to time. You watch the videos about your fighters. Please get this guy a world title shot. I mean, you're not going to get him Canelo. Canelo is not fighting Eubank. Canelo is going to fight Crawford next year, or he'll fight someone lesser than even a Crawford. He's not going to fight Eubank. So stop chasing Canelo. I think Canelo personally used you guys as leverage to get more money for this fight against Berlanga. And, fight Johnny Beck. The money won't be what it would be fighting maybe like a Hamza Shiraz or something like that. But go for the glory. Go for the gusto, because The finances are already secure. The financial part of his career is already secure. His name, people know he has a name because of who his father was, and he's been in some good fights his damn self. So go for the glory. You're already 35, and there's nothing else left to do. And I'll leave it at that. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. I'm at the Boxing Hall of Fame out here in Canterfield, New York. And for more great boxing content just like this video, make sure you click and subscribe right over here.